LGBTQ plus representation in modern gaming, and why we have why we have a big problem with it, and why there's such big pushback against people having a problem with it. And I'm gonna come out and just say it. The LGBTQ plus, I'm saying that wrong. I know I am. It goes against human programming. There's only one culture in all of Earth where you have only a male population and only a female population, and that is the prison system. And you look at it, it's very dysfunctional. And you could say, oh, well, because you're taking the drag of the earth and putting them all in one place. There is something to be said about that. However, they try an experiment to mix the male and female populations of prisons. Violence went down, but pregnancies went up. That's just what happens. But as far as civilization goes back, the family structure, a man and a woman, children, have been the foundation of every single civilization. And I know there are arguments to be made that, oh, well, you have X, Y, or Z civilization that had a strong LGBT plus culture, and it was a successful culture. However, every one of those cultures, the majority of the population was what we call the nuclear family. That's what the majority of the population did. They had kids with the woman. The woman had traditional roles. And I know that's a sticking point for a lot of people, but here's the thing. Historically, that's the way it has been. Historically, men have protected women. Historically, women had feminine roles within the family. And that goes back to my earlier statement, because the vast majority of women aren't trying to marry people they think can't provide for them. Okay? So when these things come up in games, and there's thousands of examples for this one, right? At least nowadays, though. And you see it in the game, it really throws you out of it. It takes you out of it. And you just start disliking the game because the writing is forcing in themes that don't make sense to you on a human level. Now I'm talking about, I'm going to give the example of I personally hate this game. Dragon Age the Veilguard, right? You have female, trans, lesbians and things like that. And it's probably very hard for you to get immersed into the game, because everything, all the writing is ignoring how life actually works. You have all these strong females into other females, and that's not usually how life goes, right? The writers put no effort in trying to create situations where you can suspend your disbelief. Okay, they don't try where, like Conan the Barbarian, right? Fictional character. You're like, man, no guys run around fighting 10 guys like that. Though they write in a way where we can suspend your disbelief that in this world, one guy can take on 10 guys. These writers nowadays don't even put in the effort. They say, look, she's here, she's lesbian, trans, and she can take on 10 guys at once. That's it. Don't do any world building. Don't try to accommodate for the human programming element, where other than saying, if you disagree with this, you're a bad person. And I'm going to say you're not. You're not a bad person for not being into that. You're not a bad person for playing that kind of game. Because look, that was my Dragon Age the Veilguard was my breaking point. But you might have another game that's a breaking point. Think about that game. And how much you just could not get into it because of it. How much it started to annoy you, bug you, and because they're pushing this onto you, right? And that goes back to one of those two camps. You can be in either camp. And we'll do a little test right now. All right. We have Game A. Game A is about a band made of mostly female. Half of them are lesbian. The other half, let's say other 3/4 hate men. And they are questing to save the main protagonist's husband or boyfriend or whatever. That game probably doesn't sound like something you want to play. Okay, and now let's say Game B. A party of guys going to help the main protagonist to save his wife or the princess or whatever female, whatever damsel in distress. For the vast majority of guys, that's going to sound, generic, but I look into it. If it's cool, it has some points of interest. Reason being, because Game A most likely historically never happened ever, right? And Game B being something very relatable to the vast majority of people. And do you think Game B, you think it's to be a make or break on the game if one character is black, one character is Asian, right? Do you think it's going to be the case? No, it's not going to be the case. Same thing with Game A. If one of the female characters is black and another female character is Asian, you think it's going to be a make or break on that? No, it's the concept of the game that bothers you, all right? And everything else is just being conflated into it. The fact you have a black character or a black lady in a fantasy game, fantasy medieval game, is not the breaking point. You probably actually don't even care about that. It's the whole writing element that went into the concept of the game, right? Again, same thing with Game B. If the damsel in distress was black, a black lady in fantasy medieval land, or Asian, it probably is not the breaking point for you. If it's a really good game, if it has good gameplay, good written story, you're probably not going to care. Especially if she's hot. Let's be honest now. Now she's, at the end, you go in there and you slay the dragon and your buxom 230-pound African-American prize is there waiting for you, rolling down after you down the hill. You're probably gonna go, damn. Right? It takes you out of it, ruins the fantasy. But really think about that. How much they have conflated all these other issues into things that are traditionally haven't been a problem. These things become a problem when they start to write stories that go against human nature, human program. So like it or not, humans are programmed a certain way. And you aren't going to overwrite thousands of years of human programming with just because I said so. And if you disagree, you're bad. And I honestly believe a lot of these modern writers do that, write in such a way, because there's no other way to try and overcome that human programming. And if that was the case, if that was a version of reality that could exist, at this point, we'd have, Navy SEAL teams full of women who are highly decorated. It's just not the case, right? They aren't built that way. They aren't programmed that way. Oh, I forgot to add, an all lesbian, highly decorated Navy SEALs group. So I hope after all that talking, I gave you some food for thought. I hope what you get out of this is the opportunity to self-reflect a little bit, to think about why you believe what you believe, to think about why you feel the way you feel, and to think about maybe the conditions that got you to be that way. Being extreme in anything, right, is never good. If you see these woke topicals in games or movies and you're just getting livid, that's not good for you. All right, you need to figure that out. Now, if you get a mild just irritation, if you roll your eyes, you go, look, I'm annoyed with it, I don't like it, don't bother me with it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Not one bit. However, I do think there's a danger, again, of conflating things that don't have anything to do with it, you know. Just because they push these racial agendas alongside what they call woke and DEI and all that, doesn't necessarily mean you need to accuse everything, right? Anytime you see anything outside the standard and just instantly dismiss it, okay? And that goes beyond racial components. Because as a whole, gamers do ignore the woke elements in a game when the game is good. Recent examples, Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders doesn't have a male-female body type. They have body type A and B and let you mix any of the heads. The vast majority of people roll their eyes and just ignore it and just go on with their day. So again, what does that tell you? People are choosing not to even engage with it. They just dismiss it because the game is good, right? That goes with a game with good writing, good gameplay. People just ignore it if the woke elements aren't pushed too strong in their face, right? If it's all throughout the game, then yeah, people get annoyed and disengage. So I could keep going on, but I'm gonna stop right there. If you made it this far in the video, if you like it, I'd appreciate it. You can subscribe. I usually like to deep dive into writing topics and games and movies and things like that. Sometimes I'll dabble into modern news, you know, gaming news. But also, I would absolutely like to hear from you in the comment section on what you think about the whole woke situation in modern media. If you're against it, if you're for it, if you hate my guts for what I said, you know, in this video, that's fine. Let me know. I'll give you a response. You know, I'm a pretty mellow guy. I won't blow up on you. In fact, I'd enjoy the conversation. So anyway, guys, better days. Take care.